episode 40 of the Split Screen Experience. I'm Harmon. We haven't done this type of intro in a while. Joined alongside Coleman and Andrew.
They actually call me J Money.
And I am Pump Daddy C.
All right. I hated the thing I said and somehow hated the thing you said more.
I've been saving that one for a while. I think like the first time or two I was on the podcast, I begged Harmon to let me do it, and he was very adamant about not allowing it, even though, you know, our two other beloved co-hosts were very what was Skippy's one? Was he J Money?
Or was he was what was his one he was trying to really push?
It wasn't the Skipmeister.
Skipmeister? It was
Skipmeister.
Jarrett was J Money.
Yeah, Jarrett's J Money. And I was like, Skip Cheney. I'm like, no, that's just what I call. The boys are back in town. We are back.
Beastie Boys?
In black. No, not the Beastie Boys.
Oh, it was the Beach Boys.
Oh, worse. Okay.
Yeah, you're saying stuff, Coleman. You really are.
Hey,
words are key here. You know, that's just the way of the language.
You know, English isn't my first language.
What is your first language?
I don't want to talk about it. Maybe. Cobalt.
Known Star Trekian.
Yeah. I never got into Star Trek. I tried to once or twice. My mom, my dad were into it. I just never really grasped it.
Neither could I. I watched a couple movies and I never really understood it.
Like the weird thing with this, because people like to go like, "Oh, which side are you on, Star Wars or Star Trek?" And it's like they're not in the same argument. Period, in terms of quality or like general concept. Because like as much as like, oh, they're both in space. Star Wars is space fantasy. There's magic in it, you know, stuff like that. Star Trek is very much just sci-fi. Yes, we're going to go to this planet. Oh no, they had anti-phaser rays. And I'm like, it just sounds dumb. It looks dumb. I want to go home now.
I've watched a few of the old ones. I can't say I've watched. I have seen parts of a few of the old ones. Like I know in one of the older ones, they have to bring whales back to Earth for whatever reason, and like they didn't know why or what it was, and what everything reveals itself there at the end. I'm like, I'm sure whatever. I don't even know when the movie. 40 years ago when that movie released, that was really cool. That was really big. 30 years ago or whatever it was, but it's like it just doesn't hold up well.
Right.
No, I watched one. I think the last Star Trek movie I watched was like in 2007.
Oh, like the first one with Chris Pine.
Yeah, I think that's probably it.
The J.J. Abrams remakes.
I can't tell you what happened in it. I just know I watched it.
I don't remember. I have seen all of those ones at least once. I don't remember the first movie's plot very well. I know the second one had Khan, and I believe Khan might have been played by Benedict Cumberbatch. That sounds right. I feel like my mental image of that is real. I'm going to pull it up before I am...
I was going to say. And it's a shame, you know, like, that I couldn't get into them, because I do feel like Captain Kirk and Spock and Khan are like, they're all really cool characters. They're cool character designs. Whatever you want to call them.
That is Benedict Cumberbatch. Okay.
It's just, I don't know.
Coleman, Benedict Cumberbatch is who plays Doctor Strange, by the way.
Oh, thank you, Harmon. I
wasn't sure if you knew.
Hey, do you know who's voicing Conquest in Invincible?
No. Could you care to elaborate on that a little bit?
Shut up. Shut up.
I'll leave it. We'll let it go another week. We'll let it go. I want Jared to answer this question.
I'm gonna beat someone.
For those of you who obviously don't know, in our group chat, Coleman typed this out, and then it was repeated a couple more times, and then every so often we just say it again, because Jarrett got very annoyed once people kept saying it over and over again. So now, whenever I just feel like annoying Jarrett, which I might just text him now, those words, we just say that.
That's how he'll arrive. He will arrive in the podcast just to yell at you.
I was going to say, I can hear him screeching now. He's going to join for about 2 seconds while he's mowing and just fucking absolutely rip you a new one.
He's 9 beers deep on a 0-turn mower.
With the flashlight on in the front by his feet so he can see.
Pretty much. I can
we are
see
getting
it.
to that time of year where it's like it's bright for about 3 hours in the day and then it goes to nighttime, which I love. I love this time of year for a lot of reasons, and that's definitely one of them.
So How's the video games been going?
Well,
I guess we haven't even talked about it. Call of Duty.
I was gonna
Call of
say,
Duty.
yeah, Black Ops 6 is out, and I will go ahead and stake the claim. It's the best Call of Duty in a long time.
I would, honestly, I've barely played it. Like I've played a little bit of multiplayer, mainly zombies, but I tell you what, I am enjoying it quite a bit more than I have enjoyed some of the past ones. And it's just, it's been a hoot. I haven't touched the campaign yet. I do kind of want to. I've heard mixed reviews.
It's pretty good. I'm only like a little bit in, but I really like it.
I've
It's
heard,
good.
see, and
I
I
like
think
it.
I saw a little spoiler for like the end or some, like it's like a mission or two in. And it was like, this is terrible. And then I've also heard other people say it's a breath of fresh air. It's really good. It kind of reminds people of the older campaigns. So it's like, I don't know.
I do like it. I do have a gripe though, but that's just kind of with newer CODs. I hate that you're in an area in between missions. I like when it just puts you into the next mission.
Like with the thing we talked about with that is it should be when upon completing a mission, it should just say hit A or X. Do you want to continue or do you want to go to the safe house? And then like you can hit continue, it just loads you straight into the next mission, or you hit safe house, you go back, you can like change your loadout, stuff like that, which is where
Mhm.
I'd put that system. And then you can like go, all right, ready to head back out. And you go over to Woods in his chair and go, all right, let me ride on your pegs. Let's get out of here. Like,
Yeah, pretty much. I would like that system would be way better. I'm not a big fan of. Okay, here's a safe house. You can go and figure stuff out.
it's like, oh,
Like
look,
sure,
there's like secrets. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, cool, I guess, but like it's
well,
forced.
while sure it is cool. Once you finish that, and if you click new game at all, accidentally or whatever, you're gonna have to see all that shit again. Because I think at least if you want to replay a mission, there is just a select mission feature.
Yeah, I
At
would
least you don't
hope.
have, at least you don't have to go through that shit.
Yeah, no, it's been fun. Day of recording, Infection just came out, and I will say easily my favorite Infection experience, if not of all time, close second to MW3.
MW3 was legendary.
But like this one's real good. Like I'm tempted to put it over because of how good it is, because they're combining elements of things that they've done in the past into Infected, and it
Hmm.
works really well. It also feels a lot more chaotic compared to even the old ones where it's just like, oh, here he comes. It's like, no, the zombies, like, they have the tomahawks and they have, they run around, they can jump a little higher, stuff like that. It's really cool.
I will say, well, I want to bring up the day after this, after you'll be able to see this, Nuketown will also be back in the game. Not just a face-off map, but like the big, I guess not big. It's not a big map.
Classic.
The classic map with
Yeah.
their own little spin to it.
I'm hoping it's good. Again, as long as the general flow of the map isn't really altered, you can't go wrong. I
I think
hope there's the cool little things like I hope that RCXD track still exists. The
I
one where
think
you can drive it out of the map.
other than obviously Black Ops 1, I think the only other Nuketown that I've played that I've like actually enjoyed was Black Ops 3.
See, I didn't love Black Ops 3s because of how like every wall in that game was paper, and then you add boost jumping and the brekkie, and
Oh yeah, that's true. The
you
Brecci
could
does
just
I forgot about the
blow through.
Brecci. It's now down on my tier list because of the Brecci.
You could just plow. You could kill a guy in the other house's spawn backyard from your spawn in the other house's backyard.
You know what, Coleman? I think we need to put you in a custom game, of Black Ops 3, with me with the Brecci, with you and an SMG, and we'll see who wins.
No,
I don't think you
we will.
experienced it, so I want you to
believe we will.
experience it.
I don't believe we will, Harmon.
No, it was real bad. Cold Wars felt pretty good, all things considered. It was very simple. Cold War didn't really do Cold War is always going to be like the most like lukewarm Call of Duty for me because it was fine. There was nothing to really go, oh, this was horrible, but there was nothing to make me go, gee, I really liked that. It was just
Well,
there.
well, with how long they actually had to develop it,
Right.
it's kind of surprised that you got the game out in that condition in the first place.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. That's why like I tried to not be like super whatever because yeah, they had to abandon BO4 and jump and make that really quick. Campaign was fine. for that one. But MP was again very standard, very cookie cutter. Zombies very cookie cutter for the most part, but could have been worse, as we saw with MW3 2022 or whatever, 2023.
Okay, Coleman, don't hate me. Don't hate me.
Probably will. I probably will.
But if you had to pick your top 3 Call of Duty, which would you pick? I know I threw
in order, it would go 1, 2. I was always a bigger fan of 1, 2. And
1,
is it
2
like
what?
Black Ops? Sorry.
It's like
I'm
Call of
Call of
Duty
Duty
1
2.
and
Black
2.
Ops 1, Call of Duty Black Ops 2, in that order. I was always a bigger fan of 1 than 2. I did enjoy 2. And then I would probably go Modern Warfare 2. I do enjoy those 3. And those are the main 3 I played. Like I played a little bit of World at War. Was that the not the first one, but
It was the one after the first Modern Warfare.
Yeah, okay. I think that's the one.
Yeah, like 2008 or whatever.
I've played and beat that one a time or two and whatnot. I haven't after 3. I don't think I played a lot of COD. I don't think
That's when they started going downhill. So
well, right, like Advanced Warfare, and then there was shit.
I think
Ghost, Advanced Warfare, Infinite Warfare, Vanguard,
Warfare,
World War II.
Advanced, Infinite, World War II, Vanguard. I never really played. I did play a lot of Ghost. I had that. That was like one of the few games I had on my 360. But yeah, those 4 that I just listed, I never really played, got into much. I think I had Advanced, so I touched it minimally. But other than that, I just never really got into them terribly.
I like Advanced Warfare.
Advanced Warfare wasn't as bad as people made it out to be, especially campaign-wise. Campaign-wise, Advanced Warfare and Infinite Warfare are both really strong offerings.
Mm-hmm.
It was some other things that EXO, people just really, if Advanced Warfare had the movement mechanics of 3, where you had a momentum bar, and if you boosted too many times, you'd run out of that motion for a bit, it would be a perfect game, I think, on paper. Maybe I'm wrong, but because once you added, once BO3 took the advanced movement and said, okay, you can wall run, you can jump this many times, you can slide, and then once that meter's gone, you're playing old Call of Duty until you recharge it. It's well, then that's fine. It was just the constant jump spamming, which meant if you weren't doing it, you were losing. So it was just a match full of people just bunny hopping in the air.
Yeah, I played. I played very few of Advanced Warfare's actual multiplayer because I know if you didn't have the pre-order bonus, you were just kind of getting shit on by their Tommy gun.
Which
ASM1 Speak Easy, baby.
Which one had Detective Stabler?
That was BO3.
Was it? No, was that 3?
Yeah, that's because he's the one. He's Taylor or whatever. He's like,
right.
Train go boom.
Oh, that guy. I'm like, who the hell are you? Oh, never mind.
Yeah, from Law and Order SVU.
Yeah,
Detective Stabler.
Yeah,
that's the only way I know him. I don't know his actual name. He's Detective Stabler.
Christopher Maloney, I think.
That sounds about right.
I want to say that's his name.
He was.
Yeah, Christopher Maloney.
Wow, I really thought he was like a.
No,
Kevin Spacey is Advanced Warfare.
Yeah.
Infinite Warfare had Kit Harington in
how
it.
do we, in all honesty, how do you feel about games bringing in these famous actors for these roles? You've got your Christopher Maloney, you've got your Kevin Spacey. Giancarlo just did a fucking Far Cry. Stuff of that nature. I mean, how do we really feel about that?
If it's done right, I don't have a problem with it. But there's absolutely wrong ways to do it.
I feel like they're real hit or miss.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if any of them have really hit though, I guess.
Trying to think.
Far Cry 6. Far Cry 6 was really hyped up, I know.
And then it didn't do well.
Right, but was that due to him or was that just due to the rest of the game?
I mean, I would imagine it wasn't him, but his inclusion could be the problem if too much of the budget went to him.
Right. I feel like I did hear something about that.
I heard they paid him a lot of money, and that kind of took away funding for other areas.
It's Ubisoft, so notoriously not a great dev right now, or at least not groundbreaking like they used to kind of be. I wouldn't say they were ever really trailblazers, but they kept up. Versus right now, for the most part, because most of their games are oh, this just isn't quite right, or it's horrible. That's it being kind of off is their A game right now. So that might not have been the problem. I would imagine it definitely didn't help if they paid him $200 million out of like a $500 million budget or something. I don't know how much money
Yeah.
they put into that game.
Like at that point, you're just banking on him being the entire revenue. Like
Yeah.
people are gonna buy the game because of him, which I'm sure some people did. I mean, he's pretty neat. He's cool in a lot of the stuff he acts in and whatnot. But it's like there's a lot
Yeah.
more going on than just him acting.
Right. Because I mean, look at Cyberpunk. The entire marketing plan of that game was, look,
Keanu Reeves.
we have Keanu, and then that game came out and was virtually unplayable, so it didn't matter. But every
Right.
piece of marketing was just him. Like,
Right. And it took them a year or two, but they got it right. But
They
I
did.
see what you're saying.
yeah, I think they needed that initial cash inflow from pre-orders and initial sales to finish the game. I don't know if that's because they gave Keanu too much money.
They dug themselves a hole.
Yeah, I think they
Yeah.
just bit off more than they could chew, considering I remember hearing these whispers about CD Projekt Red's working on this game called Cyberpunk, yada, yada, yada. I remember hearing that during the 360 era, and then
Yeah,
it
I didn't
didn't
know
launch
that.
until now. Like, because that game got delayed, like rebooted, retooled, and all these other things. And I'm like, and that's where your budget goes. You work on a game for too long. That's however many people work at CD Projekt Red, salary employees, just working. That's why sometimes it's best just to cut your losses or acknowledge you're just going to have to delay and put more money into it before you get any investment out of it.
Yeah. But I mean, at that point, at the latter option there, I mean that I think you ride a fine line, I would imagine, because like next thing you know, you tell the higher ups like, hey, we need to delay, we need more money. Next thing you know, they might be like, nah, you're done. Sorry, and they're gonna cut it for you. I feel like
mean-
it's hard on some developers to really make that decision.
Well, I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, it is, yeah, it's more the publisher, whoever is calling, basically funding the thing
Sure.
or helping with, all that stuff. They're the ones who get like a bigger say. But I feel like for most of them, it's like, it shouldn't be that hard to understand if I'm like, hey, if you gave us an extra 50 million and an extra 18 months, we will hit these numbers or I will quit, like that kind of deal. Because otherwise you end up with a PR nightmare. Like half of these games lately that are like investing all this money, you have, Ubisoft toting that they made the first quadruple A title in gaming. When again, triple A doesn't even really mean anything. We just kind of associate a meaning with that. And then they're like, oh, this is quadruple A. It's called Skull and Bones. And I'm like, oh, it's awful. It's a game they've been working on since like a couple months after Black Flag came out. They said, we got to make a standalone Pirates game. So that was a 10-year development with, I don't even want to know what the budget looked like for that.
No, and it's a shame because they did Black Flag so good. So
good.
everyone had such high hopes that they were going to get a pirate game down.
Yeah.
There's what, a 10-year difference between? I mean, I might be way off. Is there a 10-year difference between those two games? When was
Yeah.
Black Flag released?
Black Flag, I want to say it was 2013.
Yeah. God damn. 'Cause that was, how long was Skull and Bones like in limbo? Like how long was it like, oh well, it's gonna release soon, postpone.
It didn't hit that phase until much more recently. October 19th, 2013. That's what I thought. I knew it was later 2013, but it was 2013. So yeah, that thing's out in development hell for 10 years. And that's still, I mean, even if they go into phases of inactive development, sure, but like picking that back up, or if you're like, oh, we don't like what we have, let's scrap shit and go back to the drawing board. That's new concept art. That's new, base game mechanics. I don't know what engine it was made in. They could have tried to buy access to a new engine or something like that. It's like all these development things where it's like, at a certain point with games like that, that's when you go, it's worth more to just shoot this thing in the brain before it makes it out of here versus letting it escape the building and everyone has to see what we did.
Right. Oh no, I've kind of always like appreciated Star Wars, because Star Wars kind of like will bring. I'm kind of going back to like them hiring or using like actresses and celebrities. I always appreciate Star Wars because Star Wars would bring in like not the most well-known actors and actresses, and they'll make them famous.
Oh yeah, they're all nobodies. Like for the most part, other than like Alec Guinness was an established actor. The newer movies were a little different. Like the prequels, those actors had already been kind of known.
Really? See, I feel like it's okay. So I think like the prequels are pretty bad for it if you really want to get into that. Like, I mean, what you've got Samuel
Sam Jackson, Liam Neeson, yeah, all these people that had already been identifiable by that point.
Right.
Yeah.
And, yeah, the new ones. I don't know if I really could have ever other than fuck.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the new ones. Those are nobodies.
Fair enough.
Other than
Driver.
Like Adam Driver and then Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Well,
and then
I remember Oscar Isaac.
But Mark Hamill made himself from Star Wars. That doesn't count.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, yeah, but most people in that, but the prequel trilogies are riddled with a lot of people. Hey, I know that guy. Even Ewan McGregor at that point was pretty well off in terms of notoriety.
Can you tell me another film or show or something with Ewan McGregor in it?
Moulin Rouge.
You know more stuff than I do. I know him from Star Wars. He's Obi-Wan Kenobi, and that's all I've ever known.
He's in a movie called The Unthinkable about the family on a resort and a tsunami hits, and his kid is played by Tom Holland in that, which I find kind of funny. It's a very young Tom Holland. I remember that movie being really sad. He's in a lot of. I watched a horror movie with him in it called Night Shift recently. It was real bad. It's him and Josh Brolin, so I was like, "This is great." No,
we got really Cable and Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I'm these because I can't name. Maybe it's not called Night Shift, or it's hiding it because it's you don't want to watch that. I'm but I've never seen these guys in bad roles, really. And then this, this is real bad. Night Watch.
Speaking of Josh Brolin, how do we feel about him reprising his role as Thanos?
They'll be fine. They'll do
Secret Invasion, Secret Wars.
Yeah, he'll be because I'm imagining it'll be. A lot of this is all speculation. Obviously, we don't work there, viewer, listener, what have you. But for now, until we buy Disney. But
yeah.
I'm currently working on that loan.
I'm currently working on a ransom note because I hold the rights to Mickey Mouse.
But, make me release this NFT.
No, you'll do it, please. But yeah, it's I don't know, because it'll probably be in this one he's benevolent or something. There'll be some sort of character difference because that's what the whole multiverse saga is. It's just setting up that trope of, hey, the person you are is heavily influenced by a series of choices, those made by you and those made for you, that kind of thing. And I'm sure that there might actually be a good guy Thanos, or you'll see a Thanos core, the Deadpool core from Deadpool and Wolverine, something like that. And because I don't think it's going to be I don't think they're going to go back to the well of him being the bad guy. If they do that, I would probably walk out of the theater. I'm not going to lie, because you already gave him a fitting end as a villain. Don't touch
twice.
Yeah,
in one movie.
Yeah, literally. Me spitting my drink out, laughing when just got beheaded. I'm like, oh, well, that was easy.
I miss the old Marvel.
Me too.
Somebody, what news show just came out? Agatha. I've heard some good reviews. I've heard good reviews about it.
It's real good. It's because I was really expecting this to be whatever. To be fair, I am a little biased. My favorite side of Marvel has always been the magic stuff. I just it because it's always seen as the occult, the weird. It's the non-standard stuff. So when you get a lot of good interactions from, you'll have Wolverine showing up on Doctor Strange's doorstep, and he's I don't understand this shit. I just need this thing to go home. I always like that.
Falling for 30 minutes.
And it's I always have a good time with that. But I will say the show feels very good. There's an actress who's in it that I was really upset when I saw that she was going to be in it, but then I found out she's not in it for very long, so that was good.
Jesus.
I don't like that person. I'm not going to name who it is for spoilers, and also I don't know her name.
I was going to take a guess,
but
no spoilers.
I mean, it was the second episode, so that's been a month removed at this point, I think. But it's not bad. I mean, it's set up in a. Did anyone else see the movie Escape Room?
I know of it. I haven't seen it.
So the way that was is a horror movie where it's all right, we got signed up to this escape room, guys, and they're basically sent through a series of tests, almost like saw traps, but less like remove your fingers or die. More like, can you solve this combination lock before the room cooks you to death? A little bit better, more tame kind of idea. But like it's kind of set up like that, where a lot of the show is like pretty much each episode is like, here's one of the trials, because basically this isn't a spoiler, but the point of the show is these witches are going to walk what's known as the witches road, and at the end, if you make it to the end, pass all these trials, you're supposed to be able to get whatever you want. I don't know if it's just like a wish granted thing, or if it's just you become a more powerful witch so you can do what you want. We haven't gotten there yet. I don't know what's at the end. Personally, in my heart of hearts, I'm hoping it's like Mephisto just chilling at the end of the road, because that would make sense. But it's been good. It's like, yeah, each episode's like, oh, like this is like this girl's trial. And so like we got to figure out something because there's different types of witches, and like, oh, well, that we need like a seer, or we need there's like a potion master or something. I forget, they have an actual May alchemist, something like that, for like a girl who's like basically she's just like spoofing Gwyneth Paltrow, and she like sells like witch products, which I'm like, that's kind of funny. Like, but it's good. I mean, so far it's been pretty good. I was like, all right, I wish it had come out last year instead, but
That's something I need to definitely dive into. But while we're on the topic of a TV series, how do we feel about the ending of the old Vox Machina?
That's still pretty recent. We're not going to talk about it just.
I mean,
Well, we don't have
general
to spoil
thoughts.
anything, but I'm
Yeah.
just curious your thoughts on how this season finished.
I'm happy.
I liked it.
I thought the last episode was slightly rushed. I'm not gonna lie. Like if they would have done another episode, I would have been happy, or a longer last episode.
Right. No, I could see that. I mean,
I think that final boss battle was just a little quick.
also some of those things are influenced by how it was paced, like in the show. Not that the show and the series are like 1-to-1, but I believe from memory that fight was fairly quick in the campaign. But yeah, no, it's good. I'm very excited because yeah, we should be seeing, I would imagine, 2 more seasons, and then we'll be good. And then I'm hoping, really hoping we get more Mighty Nine news. Originally, I thought they were going to run that kind of parallel to Vox, but that looks like that might not be the case anymore.
I was gonna
Well,
say
they
that
look-
first
it looked
season
like
was
it
supposed.
was.
I thought that first season was supposed to release here. I thought it was supposed to release between this season of Vox and last season of Vox.
That's what we because they like did the announcement thing, and like there was like a bunch of like key art got leaked that was like floating around Reddit or Twitter or some other cesspit of the internet. But yeah, I don't know at this point, because like my current guesstimate is they finish Vox, they start Mighty Nine, they wrap Mighty Nine, we get the movie that, because we already know that they have a movie deal, or at least a first option deal for a movie with Amazon, which will more than likely be the Vox Machina versus Mighty Nine one shot that they
Really?
did.
They did
So,
that.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's what that movie's going to be. Or they have a lot of one shots that they could do. It could also be they had a limited campaign run during the events of the Calamity, which was run by Brendan Lee Mulligan, who's another fantastic DM. Love him. Which is talking about like this ancient event in like their timeline. They've referenced it in the show, and they could do that probably as a movie. It would be a little tight, all things considered, but it's possible. But I don't know. They have a lot of room. That's a franchise that can go a lot of places, and they've proven that they have the people behind them to keep it popular enough to keep going.
Didn't they do like an Elden Ring one shot?
Yes. Yeah,
Like, if they
they've
did,
done
like,
a
some
lot
of
of
the-
game tie-ins.
If they've done like, if they see perfect Fallout's on Prime, have them do like their Fallout one shot as like a
Yeah.
cool little side story.
Like, there's just so many things. Like, 'cause I'm trying to
When
think. Like, they've done a lot of tie-ins.
I think when we all say, I would imagine we'd all agree with this in terms of like quality of show or movie. I would have to say Amazon Prime has really taken over everything else. If my personal preference, out of everything that I like.
I would say in terms of shows, hands down. In terms of movies, I disagree. Because like you get movies like The Tomorrow War and shit like that, and I'm like,
Was that Hulu or was that?
no, that was Prime. And it was like that Chris Pratt movie where it's like,
Oh, you
I don't
don't like it. You weren't a fan of it.
No, I think that they make some stuff that I'm like, in terms of movies, I just don't like most of the stuff they put out. In terms
Oh.
of shows on Amazon, I like a lot of the stuff they put out.
I
would
like
say
Jack
probably most.
Ryan. Jack Ryan's a good show.
Jack Ryan's good. Reacher's good.
I was gonna say, I
Reacher.
think Reacher was fantastic.
Mm.
Reacher, Fallout, Invincible,
Fox.
Boys, Fox.
They've hit a lot on their TV shows. Amazon
yeah.
keeps doing shit like this. They're gonna be sitting good.
In the past, and hopefully here in the next few years we'll get some Warhammer stuff with old Henry.
Oh, Henry.
Why you say it like you know him?
Oh, we're best friends, don't you know?
He's actually sitting with us in the studio right now, just hanging out in the corner.
God, I
But we-
fucking wish.
He's
We
just
can't
sitting in
legally put him on a mic. He's currently
We can't
painting
afford
the
him.
minifigures.
He's like in the cutscene, the end cutscene for Shazam, where they weren't sure if they could show him or not.
Yeah,
It's just his bottom half.
it's like very clearly not his build. I'm like, it's fine.
It's close.
The cavalry.
Oh my god, that was amazing.
I hope
Spoiler
the
alert.
Warhammer stuff's good because it's a universe of stuff where I'm like, man, the games seem pretty cool. A lot of the games are like very clunky just because of lack of like developer insight or money or what have you, development time. Space Marine 2 was awesome. And I'm like, oh, I want to get into this world more. And they're like, yeah, you should play the tabletop game. I'm like, I would never. No.
I
I don't
think
have $30,000 to blow on an army.
I think that if us as a group got into it just a little bit, like we don't need like your full 2,000 point army. Like if we just spent, some cash, like we all got like
What a number.
100, 200 point army.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that would cost. And we just, we get together every now and again, like a fucking D&D session essentially, and just fucking everybody partner up and fucking mess with each other.
Yeah, just like a D&D session, which means about any of the times you schedule to do it, someone's going to not be able to show up.
Listen, I told you when I can. I can't help it that everyone else has been restless and
I
wanting
can't
to play.
help that you moved 6.5 hours away.
I had to get employment.
Nobody held a gun to your head and told you had to move to fucking Gary.
I didn't move to Gary.
Well, whatever. You're west.
Farther out west than that.
You're in the dumb time zone.
Yeah. Imagine being central. God. Just
We're
be
wrapping
east
up
or
this
be
episode.
west. Oh, we're having such good fun.
This episode's over.
Don't
See
be
you
a
later,
prick.
everyone. Goodbye.